Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Suzy Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have a really exciting interview ahead of us about helping teachers finally take care of themselves. Today, you'll be meeting Kendria Johnson, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who made it her mission to save educators a lot of stress, headaches, and heartaches by providing advice around the perils, pitfalls, and problems they face as representatives of the classroom. Welcome to the show, Kendria. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Suzy. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
You can call me anything, but you know what?
I want to make sure you got to get your name right.
I own Suzy. I was Suzy as a little kid. Then I went to Sue in high school, and then I went right back to Suzy. I can't help it. I am a Suzy. So I know we're going to have a great conversation about your midlife entrepreneur story. We're going to be talking about your business, what's going really well, also what midlife issues might be getting in your way to some extent, little hiccups, and whatever's challenging you in that area in your life as well as being a business owner. So we're going to start with a great question because we love talking about age around here. How old are you? How long have you been an entrepreneur? And a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and what you do in the world. Take it away.
Thank you. That's a great introduction, though. I don't know if you left me anything, but yes, I am the 50s. I am 55. Yes, I am. But yes, I started this journey about 10, 11 years ago as a school teacher. I've been a school teacher 22 years. And halfway through my career, as most of your listeners probably already know, I just hit this wall where I was just like, something that I used to love started to really wear me down. And something I used to love, I used to run to work every day because I couldn't wait to get to school because I knew those kids needed me and I knew something that they needed only could come from me. And I was excited. I loved my job. But then something about that public school system started to wear me out mentally, physically, and spiritually. I was worn out. And I know someone probably can relate to that. And I didn't have the verbiage. I didn't have the language. I didn't have the vocabulary of burnout. I just knew I was tired all the time. I was tired. I hated my job. I hated getting up. And I was tired when I went to bed. And I was tired when I came home. And I went through this process of what do I really want? Okay. And the breaking point for me was ending up in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 5 days with a stress-related illness. And that was the only thing you can say because these illnesses would come and they go. They would be mysteriously here and mysteriously gone. And I was like every bit of 37 years old. So I was like, and I was losing my hair and I would break out in hives and my eyes were really, really yellow, like I had jaundice. And I was basically malnourished. I wasn't eating properly. Oh. And I had anemia and I had high blood pressure all at the same time. So if I fainted at work, which would happen, if I fainted at work, I didn't know why. So I go to the doctor and the doctor would prescribe something and then the medicine would make me sick. And that cycle went on for a good 5 years before I hit that wall. And then eventually when I ended up in the hospital, Suzy, I was like, no, something has to give. And I got to figure something else out. And it was while I was on my medical leave that I filled out an application to go for the next year because I knew I wasn't going back to that school. That school was draining me, too hectic, political, to run badly. And I was like, I can't live my life like this. I was 37 with patches missing from my hair.
I can't even okay, I know as a podcast listener, can't see my face, but my jaw has dropped. My eyeballs are bugging out. What's so interesting? I also had a stress incident and it was just so hard to believe. I'm wondering what were you thinking at that time that wasn't, oh my God, this might be preventable? What were you thinking instead? What was going on in your mind at that time?
Well, Suzy, you know that you have friends and you have coworkers and you try to go to them for support and help. And they say things like, oh, you just have to suck it up. That's just what we have to do sometimes. You just have to suck it up. I'm like, but I'm trying to suck it up. And so basically, I was so tired of being tired and then no one was helping me. Right. So I didn't know where to go. And I was like, the programs that they have for school for teachers is like non-existent. They don't have mental health programs, so not for teachers pretty much. And that needs to change. That conversation needs to change because if we have it for the kids, then you definitely have to have it for the teacher. And that they had this program that's really, really just really just kind of like, I don't want to say the word, but it's really a bad program. But
Mhm.
I took the advice of a friend that said maybe you should talk to someone like a professional. But every time I would get on the phone with a professional, that they only gave us sessions for free. Six, that's all I got, and you only got 30 minutes. So I would sit on the phone with them for 30 minutes and try to explain what was happening. And before I knew it, 30 minutes was gone, and I wasn't getting any better. And then the next week I had to call someone else. So it was like a hotline for mental health professionals, but it wasn't working. So
Mm,
to answer your question, I had to do some real soul searching about how did I get here? What's happening? What things am I doing to contribute to this? And how can I change? Because I'm not going to change these people around me. I'm not going to change the
yeah.
stress of the job. Can't change the kids. What can I do to fix this? And so I did some things to fix it. I did quit that job. I moved overseas. Now I don't recommend that to my clients because there are steps you can take to get there, right? Before you get there. But I moved overseas and I said, if my lifestyle doesn't change, if something doesn't change, I'm out of this profession. I got to do something else. I'd rather go work at JCP. I'd rather go work at Targets. I don't want to
What
kill
was your
myself.
thought about the moving? Why did you think that was part of your solution?
I wanted a completely different environment. Okay,
Uh,
living in Texas. First of all, let me go back. I was working in Texas. Now, Texas and the educational system there is crap to begin with. So I couldn't move anywhere in the state because the state laws are the thing that govern everything. So I'm like, it's not going to be any different where I go. So I was like, and then I couldn't move to the country, the state next to me because that's Louisiana. Their educational system is even worse. And so I was like, I don't see it. And so I saw an opportunity, and of course, the little angel on your shoulder is like, you should try that. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try this for 2 years, and then I'll come back to Texas to see if I can, get back into the groove. But while I'm here in this space, if I can't get that love and passion back for my teaching career, I'm done. And lo and behold, when I got here, I was still having some of the same issues, some of the stresses, some of the hangups. And then that's when I did three things. I got a healthcare professional that I could trust, that somebody that is with me, that's just me, and then that person that I was dedicated to and that was dedicated to me. Second, I asked for help from a friend of mine who would listen to me because my coworkers, although they meant well, they weren't
yeah,
listening.
right.
You're not listening. I'm losing my hair. I'm losing my skin is falling off pretty much. I'm breaking out in blisters. I'm having heart palpitations, and that's not cool for a 37-year-old. That's not.
No.
It's not appropriate. And the third thing I did was I started to make rules for myself. Those rules turned into boundaries. Those boundaries turned into a lifestyle. That lifestyle turned into, other things. And I started to tell people, I'm not doing that. I started to tell people no, because in the research that I was doing on myself, I figured out that I didn't want to tell people no because I didn't want them to be disappointed in me. I didn't want them to dislike me. I wanted to be the best teacher ever. Hence why I made, that's the name of the book. That's really what I made the name of the book was, Teacher of the Year, because the things you have to do to kill yourself to become Teacher of the Year. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be, I don't want to be the best teacher in the school and have a heart attack the next year. So that's
Right.
not going to work. And so I started to do the work on myself. Forget this job, forget what I've been doing, forget what's happening back in the past, but forget, go ahead and figure out, what do you want, Kendria? What do you want, Miss Johnson?
Yeah.
What is it that you want? Why did you start this career? What's the
Yeah.
purpose of it?
Like you really, what really strikes me about your story is that you really had to figure it out on your own,
Mhm.
to figure out a game plan. And women, are just, it's so disconnected from some of the basic, ability to figure out our feelings like that. I know that really challenged me too. It's like, what is going on? I'm very confused. In fact, I
Mhm.
was never more confused than I was in my 5-year period of being stuck where things were wonky, and for you, you had drastic health effects. So I didn't
Yes.
want to dwell on it, but I just thought it really stands out that it was really bad, yet it
Mhm.
was still confusing.
Mhm.
You found an amazing path that moved you forward, but you had to do much of it alone. And of course, you built helpers into your plan, which was
Mhm.
amazing, but it wasn't that easy to find.
Yeah, I want a completely different environment. And what sold me on this environment was they have sunshine all year. I was like, that's what I need. That's what I need. Beaches and sunshine. That's what I need. So I figured if I was going to teach, which is they needed teachers really bad. They needed math and science teachers really, really bad. And they had a very comprehensive package. I wouldn't have just said yes if it wasn't. But it wasn't even it wasn't the money, it wasn't the time off or anything like that. It was a whole different environment. I needed to get out of that system that I was in and
Right.
just be able to look at it objectively. Like, what's
Right.
wrong? Is it the system or is it me? Is it the system or is it me? I found out half of it was me, and then the other half is that system that's back home that's really just beating up teachers left and right. Yeah.
And what part was you?
The part that was me was people pleasing, not saying no,
Mhm.
not having healthy boundaries, and not having the courage to balance my own life. They're not your principal's not gonna come home. Your boss is not gonna come to your house and knock on your door and say, "You put that computer up now. You go out on that date that guy asked you, you go ahead and drink that wine." He's not gonna do that. He or she is not gonna come do that for you. You have to
Yes.
decide to say no to that. You have to put those boundaries in place and say, okay, if I have to work from home, because I tell my teachers all the time, I don't want you to get the impression that I never work from home, that I don't open up my computer and do work. But when I see the sun going down and I'm still on my computer, the computer goes off, period. And then the wine comes out, period. Right. So I don't teach that, I don't live that which I don't teach. So I make sure that just let you know, I do a little bit of work, but very, very, very few hours are spent grading papers at home. I haven't done that in years. I don't do things like that. So I put boundaries around. And so when I found my peace, I would say about 2, 3 years after I got here, when I really got at that place of zen where I was really happy, my hair started to grow again, my nails started to grow, my skin, had that glow again. And I was, gaining a little weight because I was eating really well and I was traveling all over the world and doing the things that I really, really wanted to do. I was wondering if anybody else was going through this. Then I
Mm.
started to think, and then me being a writer, I've published 2 books now. Maybe I should write this down. Maybe someone else might be going through this. I wonder what people would think if I wrote, if I made a list of things that they could do to help them. And what would I say to my 20-year-old self? What would I say to her if I could go back early in my career? What would I say to me? And so I wrote all of those things down, and being who I am, I shared it with friends, and they were like, "Well, you need to do a workshop." So I did that. Did one workshop, and then some people contacted me and it was like, can you help me with this, and this? I'm having problems with my boss and my principal and so on and so on. And I would just give them some advice about what to do with that. And that turned into group chats and I guess it would be called group sessions, but I didn't see it that way. I just thought I was helping people. Right. And then that turned into, then the pandemic hit. So I started to really get formal with my business and gave it a name and everything and wrote the book and finished the book. But then the pandemic hit. So then we were all sitting at home. Guess what? Mental health issues started to arise again because we're all
Yes.
stuck in the house and there's nowhere to go. And, if you kept your job as a teacher, now you're teaching from home. So those boundaries that I talked about earlier, oh my gosh, you really had to have those in
Yes.
place because your house is your classroom. So that started to help people for free on that. And then I was like, maybe I should stop helping people for free and start charging people. And so let me enter a coaching program so they can help me turn this business and this passion into some kind of profit for myself. And that is how the dream came alive. So it started out as, what I went through, I shared with other people. And I tell people all the time, I became the solution that I didn't have. I
Yeah.
needed someone like me to tell me, no, don't listen to the people that say get over it because you can't. Sometimes you need to reach out and help and ask for help. I've asked for help, and it really did help me. And, and if you can afford therapy, please get it. Try to get it. And my program, even though it's 3 days, it still is very helpful in trying to break down where some of the stress is coming from and how to fix it. Because a lot of teachers are just really stressed out about things that they truly have control of.
Hmm.
You really do have control over where you work. You really
Really?
truly have control over the hours you put in. You do.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, could you be specific about that? And then there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does feel sometimes that we're stuck and we don't realize how much control we have because of this big giant narrative about what's
Mhm.
possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Well, you're a happy camper.
I think so. I think so.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love, and it was so organic the way your business developed too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Very organic. So tell me though, now we're in midlife and there are these midlife challenges that are
Mhm.
pretty common, but still surprising for so
Mhm.
many of us because I think, we just get comfortable thinking that nothing's really different. It's just another birthday, right? Like we
Yeah.
shouldn't really pay special attention to anything that's happening, but there are things happening. So tell me what that intersection is like for you with midlife challenges and the work
Mhm.
that you love and the lifestyle you love.
Yeah, and just loving the lifestyle is just part of my de-stressor. But when you were asking me the question, the first thing I thought about was my emotional health, not my physical health. I mean, my physical health is fine. I mean, I could drop a couple pounds, with this menopause stuff coming in. I could drop a couple pounds, but that's okay. I can live with a couple pounds. The things that are different for me, though, and the challenges that I'm having that mix with my business life and my personal life is that I operate on a different frequency now, right? And so my attraction to things changes from day to day. And what I mean by that, let me see if I can be specific. The friends I had 5 years ago, I don't have those friends anymore because you're not operating on the same wavelength as me. You're still, you're at that age now where you haven't quite made up your mind who you are. I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have. And there are certain things that I will not tolerate. So what I would put up with 5 years ago, I will not tolerate now. And people have a problem with that. Well, your exes are here and here. That's fine. So it's okay. But I find that, and I don't think I've ever been that way. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever been that way. I've always kind of been like, we can be friends. It's okay. I can tolerate pretty much anything. And, it's okay if you disrespect me or call me out of my name in public. You're just a friend. You don't mean anything by it. It's not a big deal. I would make excuses for people mistreating me. And
Well,
now I
plus
don't.
you were in that
I
people
don't.
pleasing space back then too. So that makes sense.
And so now I don't make those excuses. I will not be able to tolerate you talking to me that way. But I thank you so much for the invitation. I'll be on my way now, and I'll just leave and never speak to them again. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't think I've ever been in this space where, I'm okay with being alone without having a friend or a boyfriend or anybody else. I don't think I've ever really been in that space because I'm always uncomfortable being alone. But
Mm.
once you go through these journeys, these pitfalls and these valleys, man, when you get to the mountaintop, when you find your peace, you do anything to protect it. And so anybody or anything, even customers or clients that don't bring me peace can go. They will be cut with the swiftness. And I don't feel because of who we are and how old I am, I have less years in front of me than I have behind me. You will not waste my time. You will not. I do not have time to waste with you. So I think that's what's different now. That's what's happening on my journey is the emotional journey that I'm taking. It's just different.
Very interesting. And how about aging parents? Is that showing up for you?
It is showing up. Yeah, I
Because
lost a
with you living
grandmother.
especially with you living far away, I was wondering
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, my mother is 71 and she misses me, but she has to understand we have conversations about this is my time. You've had kind of your time as long as she's financially taken care of and she's okay. You've had your time to live your life and now it's not my time to live mine. And then when I'm ready to come home, I will. But even when I come home, mother, I'm not gonna just kind of stay with you and watch, Wheel of Fortune all day. Sorry, mom. Sorry. It's just not it's not as exciting when you've traveled the world and you speak on stages and you've written books and you've been you can grab a microphone and talk to 200 people at one time. It's kind of hard to just sit there and watch Matlock and Heat of the Night and what's the other one she loves? Wheel of Fortune. And she
Jeopardy?
calls the story. Yeah, Jeopardy. I forgot about that one. Suzy. Thank you for that one.
That's what my mom watches.
But then whatever comes, just they come every single day at the same time, and I'm like, this is her life. Yep, this is what she does. But yeah, so that's the only thing. She's okay for right now physically, but I know emotionally she gets a little lonely and she wants to hang out with me. Well, you're gonna have to get your passport updated because I'm getting as soon as I get home, I get her in the car and we go places. So I was like, I gotta go. I have to be moving. So because of the lifestyle I live, but yeah, it shows up for me a little bit. But our parents did the best that they could do. And now that my daughter is a parent, she's getting it.
And how's
So
that coming up for you if she's a parent? Does she live in the States as well?
she lives in the States as well. And, I visit her. She's visited me. She's more mobile. She's more mobile than my mother. And she misses me too, but I just call her and tell her what to do, like I always do, like a mother does. And then I was like, I'll be there in the summer to help, my babies, get acclimated to me and things like that. But she's a mother. She has a great husband and a great support system, something that I did not have with her. So I keep reminding her of that when everybody wants a piece of me, but this is my season to be where I am right now. And I keep trying to explain that to them. It's like, this is my time to be me. I was your mother for 20 some years. I was your daughter for 40 years. Now I'm here. You'll be okay.
Now, what about, do you have any struggle with that? Because I have heard some guests talk about guilt a little bit because they have such conflicting wants. They do want it to be their season. They do want to run the business the way they want to. And there are grandbabies and there are adult children and things like that. You haven't mentioned that. I'm just checking in. How are you managing your emotions around all of that?
Well, I don't experience a lot of guilt.
I'm sensing that.
A lot. Because I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this thing. But if it does creep in there, the first thing I think about, and this word is a key, legacy. I am building a legacy for the generations to come and the generations behind me. I owe it to the people behind me as well. My great grandmother used to, pick cotton. My grandmother used to wash toilets in the systems that I used to work in. That is my destiny, to be able to, provide for the next generation and to create all of these things that I'm doing. So my great great grandchildren can look back and say, well, if my great grandmother did that, then I can do that. Right. And that's the word that stands out to me. It's not, should I be at home more, or should I be with this person more, my daughter more, my mom more? I think of it as, if I don't do this, I'm not building a foundation for them, because going home won't serve them. I promise you it won't. I'll get bored in about 6 weeks. Going home would not serve them. It would. They would be tired of me after 6 weeks, because I'm always going to be busy trying to do something and trying to, create something and create wealth, or get another business started, or be on a stage or something. So it wouldn't even be, beneficial to them to have me just sitting there doing nothing. I am best serving them by being the best, authentic, and exceptional, period.
There you go. Mic drop on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So one other thing you mentioned in your notes that I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned in this section where we were talking about like what's getting in your way, what challenges are popping up. You mentioned lack of diversity in the workplace. So what's that like for you?
Well, there's not a lot of me's in this space that I'm in now. There's not a lot of me's back home that are supportive of each other. Whereas in Dallas, Texas, where I'm from, there is a lot of, African American women who are in business, but they feel like they're in competition with each other. And then here, there's none of us. Literally, I can think of 5 women that are doing exactly what I'm doing. Can't think of anybody else, just maybe 5 that are doing exactly what I'm doing, which is starting a business, trying to run a business, speaking in public. And we collaborate more here than we would at home. If I was at home, it would be more of a competition. Like, I'm not going to bring you my followers. I'm not going to promote your event with my email list. Whereas here, it's more, it's diverse, but we have to be respectful of other people's culture here, and so it's different. But back home, I remember what it was like telling people that I wanted to own a business. I want to write this book. And it was hard to find someone to even do my cover. And here it was easy. It was a lot easier here, because no one's trying to compete with me. Everyone is just like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. You should do that. You should do that. And so, yeah, I would love to see more diversity, though. I would like to see more women taking chances like I am, because I just don't think that I'm the only person that has an idea like we're having right now. This conversation we're having, there's not enough of these conversations being had.
That's so interesting. Well, it's scary. It can be really scary. Not everybody has that kind of courage, risk tolerance, a lot of issues with visibility at our age. You're really putting yourself out there, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're right. Visibility is like, let's see. I was gonna tell you a story, but I was like, if I had an incident with a podcaster, because I've done a lot of these interviews, and I was talking about a TV show that I'm producing now. It's not out yet. I'm still producing. I'm still looking for guests. And she had a lot of questions, and she kept asking me questions to the point where my spider sister started to come up, thinking, why is she asking me these questions? And why okay. So why are you asking? Again, this is a woman from the States, where I'm from. And she's asking me questions that I've already told you that the it's not out yet. I haven't released anything because I don't have numbers about my demographics, because I haven't done anything yet. This is a new show. It's going to be about me and teaching and all this. And she was just asking me a lot of questions, basically saying, I don't believe, this is what I felt in my spirit. She did not say this, be clear. But what I felt in my spirit was, I don't believe that you as a Black woman can pull this off. And I don't believe that you can do this. And I don't believe that this network that you're associated with is going to be successful. She didn't have to say it. It was just the question she was asking. Like, how do you know that all your people will be women? I'm like, most of our demographics is women. She didn't believe that. She's like, do you have anything on file? I said, it's not my network. It's not my network. You have to talk to the producer. I don't know. Do you ask if I was in, Good Morning America, would you really be asking Al Roker, what are the demographics of this show? You would just sit down and do an interview, right? And I just didn't like it. And so it's things like that make me feel like, oh, come on. Is it still like that? Come on now. Are we still doing this? Just, I don't come across as a disingenuous person. I don't come across that way. So I know you think you don't think that I'm making this up, do you? I'm just making it up. Here's my book.
I do not think
it's on Amazon. Go see it.
I do not think you're making it up. Well, thank goodness you had so much experience to sense and trust what you were picking up, and then you can gain control again, right? So that there is something to be said for age and stage. I really believe we're not just older; we are older and wiser, my friend.
Wiser, yes,
big time. You can't put a price on that. Well, you mentioned
Man.
your book. I did want to ask you a couple questions about your book. Tell us again the title, and if you could give us a couple of examples of the advice that you share.
Oh, cool. Yes. Yes. Name of my book is Teacher of the Year, a Strive to Survive toolkit for teachers. And most people think, I'm bragging about being Teacher of the Year. Oh, no, I never made Teacher of the Year. I was too busy working. and, so, and some of the advice in the book. Now, the one thing I like about this book is my publisher had me put in workbook questions at the end of each chapter.
Oh, I love
So
that.
at the end of each chapter, you write down something that you can relate to from the book that I just read to you, right? And there's 6 steps, but I won't read all of them because I don't want to bore you. Plus, I want you to buy the book. There's 6 steps that I talk about that new teachers mistakes that they make that they should
Yeah.
stop making.
Oh, this is good because one of my sons is going to be a teacher. Please
Okay.
share.
Please share. One of them, I'm trying to find the page, but I don't need it. I got it in my head somewhere. Is document your successes. Do not wait for people to pat you on the back. That's a mistake we make. We wait for validation from our principals and the people around us. Document the things that are working. Don't wait and say, if a child does something great, try to see if you can get that on film or try to see if you can record that. Keep all the letters that the parents give you. Keep all of keep data on the test that you give. Don't wait till the end of the year when you get that dreaded employee evaluation to wait for them to check off these boxes and then you have X's here and X's here. Well, you know what? You wrote that, but let me show you what my kids can do, right? Always have some kind of documentation. I didn't do that for the first 6 years. Big mistake. Second, don't overtrain. You will not learn it all in the first year. You will not learn it all in the second year. You have to do it. This is a job that you have to do over and over and over again before you are competent enough. The competition hours are 10,000.
Yeah,
10,000 hours you have to do something in order to be good at it. Stop putting pressure on yourself to learn it all in the first year, to get it all right. You're going to mess up. Guess what? You're going to mess up even when you know it. You're going to keep messing up.
That's true.
That's how you're going to learn. It's just, you're going to keep messing up. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to walk around perfect, boring. Just do the best you can and just, leave the rest to God. Seriously. Number 3, and then I'll stop here, is build a fan base in a teach for your teaching circle. Build a support group within your teaching circle of people you can depend on and talk to when those things are tough. One of the reasons why there's such a high turnover rate for new teachers is because they get dropped off and they're like, good luck. Good luck. And they push them in those classrooms and then maybe they get a mentor the first year or 2 if they're lucky. And then after that, good luck. No, teachers need constant support, which is why I started this program. And I pray that it goes worldwide eventually. But that's why I started this program, so we can be a support system for each other. They need someone to go in their classroom at least once a week and say, you all right? You okay? You sure? All right, you need anything? You need to talk? And then eventually, even if they're a little stubborn, because new teachers are very, like, I got this. Even if they're stubborn, eventually they'll say, okay, now, Miss Johnson, I'm not having a good day. Can I come see you? And these are the experiences that I've had, and I wrote them down in the book. Because eventually they will come to you and say, I'm not having a good day. This is the problem that I'm having. And they need that. They need a corner that they can come to and talk to that's not the principal, that's not a person of authority, that's someone that's, yeah. So if you can, when he starts to teach, intentionally build a circle, intentionally build it. Go to someone and say, I need to help you. I need you to help me. Please help me. Yeah.
That is really great. So what would you say is your main focus now that you've got this off the ground? You clearly love it. You found your passion. What is your main focus?
Is to spread this message and be a solution. Every day you see on the news all the terrible things that are happening in the world of education, all the things that are happening, the numbers. You've seen the numbers about how many teachers we're losing and the shortages. I want to be a part of the solution because I know what they're up against. Even though I'm overseas, some of that stuff's still going on here. Some of that stuff still goes on here. And so I know some of the things that they're going through back home, and I want this message to spread. I'm only one person. So I would love to be able to give you the book and that's it. But the program and the book kind of go together. And my program I can only seat, matter of fact, I can only do about 30 teachers at once when I do the workshops. I would love to be able to get 100 teachers in there and have those 100 teachers go train 100 more. Wouldn't that be great? And we can all have these little pockets of people that help each other in their own community and not wait for burnout to occur. So that is my new focus.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. Now, how can people best get a hold of you? Because I know you're very inspiring. And so I know somebody's like, where can I get a hold of her? Tell me more.
Okay, so my website is Teach for Life, and that's TEACH, the number 4, life.training. Okay, that's my website. If you can go to there. On there is all of my information, pretty much my phone number, email address, contact information. My next taping for I'm doing interviews now for the TV show. People who want to be interviewed. I just did a Facebook Live before I got online with you about the streaming TV thing and the things we're going to be talking about. And if anybody wants to come on there, and I was asking for referral. Like, if it's not you, Suzy, can you refer me to someone who might be interested in partnering up with me, and we can do a TV show together? So that's my new focus, taking this thing worldwide.
That's just a little thing. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing big. Nope. Nothing big. Nope.
That's great. I really enjoyed hearing everything you had to say, Kendria. Thank you so much for taking the time from your day, sharing all this amazing stuff. That book sounds amazing. And I really just appreciate how committed you are to supporting teachers. Like, you had a hiccup in teaching and you didn't just throw it away. You came in stronger and more committed because you're so focused on being the solution. I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. That is all for now. If you're listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle over 50 who's also an entrepreneur and would like to come on the show, please go to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It's never too late for you to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Suzy Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick, before we say goodbye, if you are connecting with the show and are finally ready to make some changes to regret-proof your life, I want to invite you to apply for the Women in the Middle Academy. It's my transformational midlife group coaching program to help you get clear about what's getting in your way so you can get on with the good stuff. Head over to www.womeninthemiddleacademy.com. Talk soon.